In this video, we're going to be speaking about fixing bugs in the system. So it really doesn't matter what your level is, with the beginner, senior dev, tech lead, manager. From time to time, well, not time to time, a lot of times are going to have bugs to fix. Sometimes they're going to be small, sometimes they're going to be errors, things like that. But you will always have bugs to solve, because the software development is complicated. It can get even more complicated, and you're gonna have all sorts of bugs to fix. Some bugs are internal, some are external, and bugs can exist in different parts of the system as well. So I think before I tell you the 5 methods that I deploy to fix the bugs, let me just give you a little idea of how I detect what type of bug it actually is. So there can be 3 types of bugs from what I understand. The first one is external. So if you're connected to an API and consuming it, retrieving the data, manipulating the data, pushing the data back, and stuff like that, then the bug can be with the API itself, especially if it's an API written by different team, right? So the other day I was using an API and we had an issue where the API would not save the data. So we looked around, we figured that it's not our system that's in fault here, it's the API. So it's worth knowing where the error lies. The first one where the error can be is an external system that your system is relying on. Now, the second type of error, or the problem or the bug you can have, is logical bug is it's really not a bug. It's the system has been written in a certain way and it's functioning well. It's just working wrong. It's so you might have something like calculating VAT of a product. It works, doesn't throw any error, but the end result or the VAT is wrong. That's a second type of bug. You can call this logical bugs. And then there is third category, which is actual errors. So if you have a system that throws error, you can go to the log file, or you can enable the debugging on your local machine, and then try to find out what file that error leads to. Once you know the error, when you understand the error, you know what file that is. Hopefully it's not in multiple files, then you can go on and fix the error. So there's 3 main categories where the bug can be. It's worth knowing where the bug is before you actually start debugging the system. So that's logical bugs, errors, and external bugs. Now I think if that's clear, let's speak about 5 different ways that I use to fix the bugs. So the number one thing I do, and it really doesn't matter how big or small the system is to, as soon as I find the bug or the bug is reported, it ends up in Jira and I'm assigned the task. I try to understand I try to understand that part of the system even more. I can ask the project manager, I can ask the client, I can just try to understand not the detail, but what this system is trying to do, what's the goal. Now you can go a bit more broad, try to understand the whole system, or you can try to understand that part of the system. But I don't look at the code, I just try to see this is the file, this is the file that are involved, what's happening, what are they trying to do, just get a broad idea. Then you can manipulate the system to your will and then get it to do things in a certain way. But if you don't understand the whole system, then you cannot really fix the bugs in the right way. You're going to have a lot of times people who understand the system, don't know a lot of programming, but they can still give you a solution. Okay, so that's number one. As soon as you find the bug, try to understand the system even more. It'll be easier for you to fix the bug. Then second technique I do to fix the bug is to actually just say the bug out loud. I'll read the issue from top to bottom. Sometimes it's not gonna make sense, and when that happens, I need to rewrite the issue or add a comment there so it makes sense to me. Okay. So when you do that, you telling yourself in a more precise and clear way what the bug really is. I know it's reported by someone else, but I need to understand the bug, so I need to rewrite the bug in certain way so I understand it. Then you can go and find. But say the bug out loud. Does it even make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then you can just keep going into the details and you won't end up nowhere. You just keep going in circles after hour. So say the bug out loud, read it loud, see if it makes sense to you. Is it crystal clear? Once it is, then you can try fixing the bug. This is also important because this is also tell you whether you understand the requirements or not. So do that. Now, if you can kind of memorize what the bug is and understand, say it out loud a few times, it's in your head, right? You got the mental model of the bug. Then here comes the third one. You can go for a walk, and now that the bug is in your head, you understand what the bug is, what are ins and outs, what you can do, what you can't do. Then you can go out for a walk, enjoy a little bit, and think about the bug, how you can solve it. And going for a walk only works if that bug, if you made it clear to yourself, only then going for a walk will work. Otherwise, you'll just be looking at the sky and not fix anything. So third one, go for a walk, but make sure you understand the bug, you understand the goal, what's broken, what's not broken, and all that. Then go for a walk and try to solve the bug. That's the third thing I do. Now, the fourth thing is, it sounds a bit silly, but just spend enough time fixing the bug. This is what happens a lot of time to me when I'm fixing a bug. It's not gonna be fixed in half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It will eventually be fixed if you pay enough attention and you just keep attacking it constantly. So spending enough time is not a problem. Sometimes it is when the bug is a P1. So think about it a bit more sensibly, but spending enough time generally fixes the bug for you. So that's the fourth one. Now, the last technique I use, it's a bit more advanced, and you might not be able to do it if your system is very tightly coupled. Each system is going to have modules, it's going to have a lot of legacy code, it's going to be relying on other API, other classes, it's going to be relying on models, grabbing the data from here and there, and it's just this constant flow of information kind of makes it difficult. But the last technique I use to solve the problem is I try to isolate the code. Now, if you have a class and it's tightly coupled with a lot of other classes, but the problem is with the first class, then what you should do is just isolate that class. That class, if you pick that class, should be able to, if you pick that class and paste it somewhere else in the system, it should still work. Now, for that to work, you will have to pass the dependencies. You will have to create your own dependency, pass them as object, dependency injection, or however you want to pass. You'll have to take the dependency and pass it to this class. Now the class is isolated. Okay. Once the class is isolated, it's not touching other parts of the system. Now you can go in and fix the bug peacefully. Believe it or not, but this really helps, because then you're not thinking about other parts of the system, this and that could be passing null, that could be, yes, that can happen, but try to isolate the class or a function or whatever. If it's just a file with a bunch of code, try to isolate it, and then go from there. So I think that's all I can think of at the moment. There's many other things people do, small things here and there to fix the code. Some people post in ChatGPT, try to find errors. Sometimes it can pick, other times it can't, but these are the 5 things I do. So 1, understanding the requirements. 2, say it out loud, kind of almost memorize the issue. Then you can go for a walk and think about the issue. Then 4th, spend enough time. And the 5th one, code isolation. I hope it's been helpful. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.